Good evening. This is my introduction. I would like to introduce myself and explain why I'm on YouTube, what it is I'm trying to accomplish, and hopefully gain your support. My name is Robert Lagervall. I'm currently legally blind. I lost my sight a few years ago. I got part of it back through radiation therapy, but not enough to do a lot of the things I used to do. But anyway, um, now it's become extremely important for me to be able to understand the world. I think I have that right. Now, I've been a successful man many times in my life. I've had some failures, but I've learned you don't fail until you quit trying. So I continue to try. Even now, I'm trying to overcome a lot of these sight difficulties. I've overcome a lot of things in my past. I had a severe stutter as a child. Uh, Military, I think, helped me the most. I'm kind of loud occasionally, so that's their fault. Anyway, um, some of the things that I say are pretty blunt, and I've been told I have a terse, blunt affect. Now, I'm hyperactive, ADHD, and when I have one of these terse, blunt moments, I can become quite hyper, I guess, and it scares people. So, um, I try to buffer that as much as possible by providing them with a packet that explains it. And the packet's from doctors and from attorneys and the Justice Department. So it's a fairly informative packet, but most of the time they don't even bother to read it. I've discovered that. And most of the time when I produce this packet, I'm dealing with government. Now, there are a lot of people in government are good people. A lot of them. There's a lot of bad ones too. The police lately have been doing a wonderful job, in my opinion, of policing themselves. They are correcting a lot of the situations that were intolerable. I come from a background of police. My grandfather was chief of police. My other grandfather was mayor. They were the primary male influences in my life, and that's who I've gathered my moral compass from. Now, they were both politically active as well. One was a Republican, one was a Democrat. Not a radicalized Democrat like the Democratic Party today. Now, let me explain that. There's two types of Democrats. There's the radical Democrat. It's created under Jimmy Carter. And then there's the Democrat that believed in some of the old-fashioned values. Let's put it that way. Okay. Now, most of them have deserted the Democratic Party and either gone independent, non-active, or a few have come across to the dark side. The Republicans, that's just a joke anyway. I hope my videos inform people, as well as I hope to get your responses, because there's a lot of things I don't think I got the right idea about, because if I'm right, there's some major problems that'll blow us away. I'm telling you, some of this shit's scary. But we'll go into that. I've been a disability rights activist for quite some time. I received an award from Rosa Parks many years ago. '04, I believe. Anyway, um, one of the things that I've discovered is people are afraid of intelligence. People in government are afraid of intelligence. I've got a pretty good memory. They tell me it measures out at 87%. So that allows me to read a lot and understand and retain how things work or how they're supposed to work. And that's the biggest problem I have. I understand the way it's supposed to be, what the ideology is. The reality is often different. And that's what I have problems with. Functioning in that altered reality that has been created by many social organizations, government. I met a lot of good government people, please. Don't get me wrong, I met a lot of good police officers. Don't get me wrong. Met a few bad ones too, both police and government. Those are the ones I don't like. Those are corrupt ones. And those are the ones I've battled for over 20 years, and I win every time. Because the law's the law, and they're not above it. Now, most good police officers know this, and they don't act outside the law. They try their best, and when they do, it's an error, or unfortunately, sometimes they get wrapped up in the moment with other officers, and depending on the situation, they have to be aggressive. They've been trained to take and analyze and control every encounter that they have. This violates a lot of rights for non-criminals. Now, the problem is they're trying to combat the criminals. Now, how do you do that effectively? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. I know what the old rule was. Don't fire unless being fired upon. Now, I hope I've given you just a little bit of what I believe in. Now, I've received 2 Congressional Leadership Awards. I received the National Civil Rights Award from Rosa Parks. I've had a company that was ranked 2 in the world in October of '04. I know a little bit about what I'm doing, but there's so many lies, outright lies, by government, by people with agendas. Most of them are self-serving agendas. They don't benefit the people. What happened to the champions of the people? Where are they? Now, I'm a Republican. Have you read the Republican Creed? I don't think you have. Most people haven't. Most Republicans haven't. I vote my conscience. Most of the time it's Republican, because I guess I lean that way. I've always said I was a Republican. I don't know what to do about the radical Democratic Party. But if they expose themselves as true criminals and true terrorists, then I think they should be dealt with by law. Of course, by law. Give them their rights. If they're found guilty, an awful lot of them, aren't there? About 40 million, I understand. That's a magic number, folks. You know, there's 40 million beds in the FEMA camps. 40 million beds in the FEMA camps. 40 million civil servants. What seems to be the biggest problem in our country today? The lack of government oversight. So, all these civil servants need to be re-educated. Hmm, there's a way to do it. Oh man, that's so extreme. Come on, really? Did you believe that? Wow. No, look, I've sat on a board that during times of emergency becomes the FEMA board. And I know firsthand that the beds are not for any conspiracy crap that's been floating around. That's nonsense. After Katrina, it was clear the government needed to have an emergency system that was functional, that was protective of the citizens. They created these camps to provide emergency shelters for those declared emergencies. Now, each area has its own unique possibility of emergency, but each area needed shelters. That's why there's so many. And until I see with my own eyes, and I can see some, so I want to see these guillotines or some of this other crap they're talking about in these FEMA camps, because I don't believe that exists. Yeah, I can't say for sure, but come on, either the country is insane or rational people, people who should be doing things, aren't. Now, let's talk about that. Who is the government? The people. So, as the government, what do you do for the government? What have you done for it lately? Seriously, no, I'm not kidding. It's your responsibility as a citizen to participate in your government, to participate in your community some way, somehow. If you're not doing that, then you don't have a right to bitch about anything. Okay? Seriously. So, that being said, moving right on. I will be exposing a lot of government corruption. I've been documenting it for years. It involves many different government agencies. It involves some law enforcement agencies, but let me explain what I'm going to do with that. I don't like the witch hunts that have been going on against cops in general. Granted, there was a problem, but I don't know, it's pretty distasteful overall, the whole thing. You don't know who to believe about what. That's another thing I'm going to address. There's standards. What happened to those standards? Well, I want to bring them back. I'm going to bring them back on my channels anyway. Ethics. Moral turpitude. Things that people seem to have forgotten about. Now, I built a company that got ranked number 2 in the world because of my beliefs. I didn't have to make a fortune on every single client. It just wasn't about that. It's not always about money. And if you do make money, you need to give back. Are you giving back? Anyway. That's about all I got time for right now. I think I've gone on about quite a few different things. Stay tuned. It gets fun. Yeah, spoiler alert. Better not go there just yet. But I've got some dirt on a high-ranking government office. And the executive in that office has not remedied the lack of following law. So I'm going to address that again with a second visit. There's still an opportunity for them to rectify the situation prior to that visit. If they don't by the time I make that visit, though, and I'll document course, their continuing violation of law. And I'll put it all on YouTube for you guys. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I've got lawsuits going. I've won lawsuits. I've won at different levels of the complaint process. Law's the law. Don't people understand that? That's one of the constants you can rely on. Now, laws don't necessarily stay the same. They do change. But they still are the law. And boys and girls, that's what it's about. I'll tell you more about what I believe about police officers. They're good people. Really. Most of them are great people. And we need to cut them a little more slack. We need to educate them a lot more. We need to get them more training. We need more officers, more good officers. Weed out's bad, but, don't expect perfection, because that'll never happen no matter what. That's the nature of man. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Anyway, have a good evening.